Hi guys, it's Mrs. Villanueva. Just wanted to jump on here tonight and read you the next two chapters in our story, The Tale of Despereaux. We're gonna read chapter 3 and 4 tonight. I'm gonna try and do two chapters every day, at least Monday through Friday, so we can get through this book. I spent all afternoon going through packets, organizing. Really appreciate all your work. I appreciate your parents' work. You guys put some really great effort into those packets. So let's get into our reading tonight. Chapter 3, Once Upon a Time. Despereaux's siblings tried to educate him in the ways of being a mouse. His brother Furlough took him on a tour of the castle to demonstrate the art of scurrying. Move side to side, instructed Furlough, scrabbling across the waxed castle floor. Look over your shoulder all the time, first to the right, then to the left. Don't stop for anything. But Despereaux wasn't listening to Furlough. He was staring at the light pouring in through the stained glass windows of the castle. He stood on his hind legs and held his handkerchief over his heart and stared up, up, up into the brilliant light. Furlough, he said, what is this thing? What are all these colors? Are we in heaven? Cripes! Shouted Furlough from a far corner. Don't stand there in the middle of the floor talking about heaven. Move! You're a mouse, not a man. You've got to scurry. What? Said Despereaux, still staring at the light. But Furlough was gone. He had, like a good mouse, disappeared into a hole in the molding. Despereaux's sister, Merlot, took him into the castle library, where light came streaming in through tall, high windows and landed on the floor in bright yellow patches. Here, said Merlot, follow me, small brother, and I will instruct you on the fine points of how to nibble paper. Merlot scurried up a chair and from there hopped onto a table on which there sat a huge open book. This way, small brother, she said as she crawled onto the pages of the book, and Despereaux followed her from the chair to the table to the page. Now then, said Merlot, this glue here is tasty, and the paper edges are crunchy and yummy like so. She nibbled the edge of a page and then looked over at Despereaux. You try, she said. First a bite of some glue, then follow it with a crunch of the paper. And those squigglies, they are very tasty. Despereaux looked down at the book, and something remarkable happened. Those marks on the pages, the squiggles, as Merlot referred to them, arranged themselves into shapes. The shapes arranged themselves into words, and the words spelled out a delicious and wonderful phrase. Once upon a time. Once upon a time, whispered Despereaux. What? Said Merlot. Nothing. Eat, said Merlot. I couldn't possibly, said Despereaux, backing away from the book. Why? Said Despereaux, it would ruin the story. The story? What story? Merlot stared at him. A piece of paper trembled at the end of one of her whiskers. It's just like Pa said when you were born. Something's not right with you. She turned and scurried from the library to tell her parents about this latest disappointment. Despereaux waited until she was gone, and then he reached out and with one paw touched the lovely words. Once upon a time. He shivered. He sneezed. He blew his nose into his handkerchief. Once upon a time, he said aloud, relishing the sound. And then tracing each word with his paw, he read the tale of a beautiful princess and the brave knight who serves and honors her. Despereaux did not know it, but he would need very soon to be brave himself. Have I mentioned that beneath the castle there was a dungeon? In the dungeon there were rats, large rats, mean rats. Despereaux was destined to meet those rats. Reader, you must know that an interesting fate, sometimes involving rats, sometimes not, awaits almost everyone, mouse or man, who does not conform. Chapter 4. Enter the Pea. Despereaux's brother and sisters soon abandoned the thankless task of trying to educate him in the ways of being a mouse. And so Despereaux was free, he spent his days as he wanted. He wandered through the room of the castle, staring dreamily at the light, staring in through the stained glass windows. He went to the library and read over and over again the story of the fair maiden and the knight who rescued her, and he discovered, finally, the source of the honey-sweet sound. The sound was music. The sound was King Philip, playing his guitar and singing to his daughter, the Princess P, every night before she fell asleep. Hidden in a hole in the wall of the princess's bedroom, the mouse listened with all his heart. The sound of the king's music made Despereaux's soul grow large and light inside of him. Oh, he said, it sounds like heaven. It smells like honey. He stuck his left ear out of the hole in the wall so he could hear the music better, and then he stuck his right ear out so he could hear better still. And it wasn't too long before one of his paws followed his head and the other paw, and then without any real planning on Despereaux's part, the whole of him was in display, all in an effort to get closer to the music. Now, while Despereaux did not indulge in many of the normal behaviors of mice, he did adhere to one of the most basic and elemental of all mice rules. Do not ever, under any circumstance, reveal yourself to humans. But the music made him lose his head and act against the few small mouse instincts he had in possession. And because of this, he revealed himself, and in no time at all, he was spied by the sharp-eyed Princess P. "Oh, Papa," she said, "look, a mouse." The king stopped singing. He squinted. The king was nearsighted. That is, anything that was not right in front of his eyes was very difficult to see. "Where?" said the king. "There," said Princess P. She pointed. "That, my dear P, is a bug, not a mouse. It is much too small to be a mouse." No, it's a mouse." "A bug," said the king, who liked to be right. "A mouse," said P, who knew that she was right. As for Despereaux, he was beginning to realize he had made a very grave error. He trembled, he shook, he sneezed, he considered fainting. He's frightened," said P. "Look, he's so afraid he's shaking. I think he was listening to the music. Play something, Papa." "A king play music for a bug?" King Philip wrinkled his forehead. "Is that proper, do you think? Wouldn't that make this into some kind of topsy-turvy, wrong-headed world if a king played music for a bug?" "Papa, I told you, he's a mouse," said P. "Please?" "Oh, well, if it will make you happy, I, the king, will play music for a bug." "A mouse," corrected P. The king adjusted his heavy gold crown. He cleared his throat. He strummed the guitar and started to sing a song about stardust. The song was as sweet as light shining through the stained glass windows, as captivating as the story in a book. Despereaux forgot all his fear. He only wanted to hear the music. He crept closer and closer still, until, reader, he was sitting right at the foot of the king. So tomorrow we'll read chapter 5 and 6. I hope you guys enjoy this story. Have a great night.